it told us we're welcome to start early. So,
we live? We're live. We're live right now. We are audience that no one can see. We can hear you too. Hi everyone. First of all, we know, don't send us any messages. We know we're backlit. It's still the best background.
This is probably the best lighting.
This is amazing.
Loyal fans.
Yeah. We're aware. We're very aware. So definitely don't tell us about that. But if you're Melissa, definitely tell us if you can hear us.
Yeah. Please text us now.
Please text us now.
That would be great.
We are live from Epic UGM, the users group meeting. And we are, as far as we know, we're gonna make this up, the first non-media media doing a live show from UGM.
Yeah.
A distinct honor. A distinct honor. So that's exciting.
They may regret.
They might regret.
Yeah, so this is pretty wild. We ate the food, so we have the mind virus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Petted the animals in the petting zoo, which were amazing. Obviously, we'll talk about that.
I held a bunny and also fed a zebra.
I love donkeys so much. And there were 2 donkeys. Anyway, just to talk about this is a long time.
We have the mind virus. We did eat the food.
We did strewed it.
We drank the water.
It was delicious.
But yeah, anyway. So yeah, we learned a lot. We have actually gone to real sessions, which was very exciting. We have
I have notes.
We picked up a lot of guests off the street. We had scheduled guests, and we also have unscheduled guests. So we're very excited about that. You took notes?
I took a lot of notes. So,
well, no, I want to say some stuff before you say real side stuff. So, a bunch of things that I was super impressed with so far. First of all, we learned from our Uber driver yesterday on the way to the bar.
Yep.
That Epic apparently has financed the construction of the high school right around the corner, which is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And then we also learned that Judy gives basically all of our money away to her foundation, which is Roots and Wings.
Roots and Wings.
You know, we love giving away money over here.
Yeah.
We are into it. We do not give away that much money because we don't have that money. we could. All right, what smart things you have to talk about?
Well, I mean, I think if you're in the industry, obviously know Epic Systems. How could you not? Those loyal listeners might know that I used to work at a very small EHR company compared to Epic. And so I know a little bit about the industry for a while now. There are just these anachronistic companies in the space, and this is certainly one of them, defying sort of all of the things you might think about a company like this in terms of the size, being private forever, doing everything pretty much from scratch, never requiring another company. So stuff like that. Also, what I didn't understand, I didn't know the full sort of scope of where Epic was covering different countries. So they have customers, big hospitals or health systems in obviously every state in the US, Canada, Australia, UAE, Belgium, Denmark, England, Finland, Ireland, Lebanon, Netherlands, Switzerland, Northern Ireland, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Switzerland. So that's pretty big. And obviously the other biggest EHR outside of the US is still Oracle Cerner, but very interesting growth in international.
Yeah, no,
do it. Yeah. Big deal.
Loved all the flags.
This is the 45th users group meeting.
Yeah, I don't know why it's the first one they invited us. So
weird. I was not alive. Weird. And Judy confirmed that all of her original code she wrote for Epic is gone. It's not in production anymore.
Yeah. Well, she said someone else told her that, so it is unconfirmed.
Yeah. I think in terms of just the growth in the product that might not be obvious to somebody who doesn't work at Epic or isn't immediately a customer or direct customer is one of the most interesting ones, which is Cosmos, which is their
I'm into the Cosmos.
Yeah. So data platform, they're, as far as we can tell, they're operating on a sort of you have to sign up and contribute data to be able to use the data for research and also for other tools. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. And there was a really interesting,
they had some great reports too.
They had some great reports.
Which
I think the other thing as well that I heard that I was really interested in was some new stuff happening with the state of Washington, the great state of Washington.
The great state of Washington.
As
shout out Dr. Umair Shah.
Dr. Umair Shah was in the great state of Washington. that will be really interesting to watch, to see how Epic expands beyond like big hospitals and health systems. They have some plans to expand into behavioral health, into tribal systems, into smaller systems there. So that's going to be a really interesting one for like the loyal listeners, watchers. But
all of our
like,
global events.
This is a massive campus. It's on a farm. As you've heard, there's all kinds of stuff.
We got lost, and people magically appear with golf carts and take you where you need to go.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we're overwhelmed a little bit, as we expected,
potentially,
but
some other things. That's fine.
Totally. So that was kind of my like. I just
that was your thing.
I think the two things are really the growth of Cosmos, what that means for AI tools, and also the growth of Epic across the country and the competitive stance with some of the other larger EHRs, Oracle particularly.
To be honest, it kind of looks like
Meditech.
I mean, maybe that's just being on the inside in the big, gigantic conference room, but it seems like they're crushing it. That's my opinion.
Later on,
no one has told us that.
No,
it looks like it.
Later on, special correspondent Michael Marchand will come back and tell us more about interoperability. He's going to be here in a little bit.
We won't talk about TEFCA right now. Well, maybe we will, but like not right now.
There's more to say about TEFCA and what Epic is doing in space.
Yeah. You guys saw the news. We talked about that last week. So now we, like I said, we picked a bunch of people off the street. We got some scheduled guests. We got some repeat guests. So we are going to have our first guest on, who actually works at Epic, allegedly.
Yeah.
Sean McGinnigal.
Oh no.
But he's going to tell us here.
Coming. You got to put that behind.
We'll put him back here. All right. So Sean, this is Sean. Sean's on there. Sean, move over here. Yeah.
Sean.
Great.
Yeah. So
how's it going?
What is your actual name?
Sean McGuggle is my actual name. Nice to meet you.
So what do you do here?
So I'm a software developer. I started writing a lot of the code and actually building a lot of the original predictive models. Now I lead the AI infrastructure team.
So you also make up your own title, like Judy said, or is that like a real thing? What's a title?
I do. We, especially for like conferences, we'll have fun with it sometimes.
Oh, really?
Because
so what's your title for the conference?
For many conferences, I go with director of AI. Sometimes if I want to be silly, I'll do like algorithmic sorcerer as a fun title. But the funny thing, I mean, everyone at Epic, like most of the software developers, their title is software developer. So
go ahead.
I am truly a software developer and will forever be, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have your own office?
I do. Actually, a lot of folks on campus, unless they choose to have a doubled office, will have it.
Yeah.
It's super nice to focus.
Yeah. That's what we were hearing. That's what was being told to us about the experience of Epic employees here. So the campus is so big because they try to give everyone their own office, because it is very much an in-person work culture.
Yeah.
As opposed to my own organization and other organizations and companies, it is a in-person work culture.
Yeah. We like having the ability to, if there's a challenging problem, especially with like an urgent, time-sensitive situation, just being able to go across the hall and knock on someone's door and say, "We need a solution. Let's hash this out." That's invaluable at times.
So tell us about AI at Epic. We heard a lot of like, we saw a massive list of projects. But
Oh, and then this guy, Sean. Sean's last name?
Other Sean?
Sean.
Seth.
Oh, Seth.
Yeah, that's
two sets.
We went. You guys, they put us in the media briefing because they considered us semi-real media today. And he was telling the quote I liked from him about, because these reporters were asking like real questions, and Lisa and I were like, and he said something like, AI is not like an actual like app or anything. AI is just a developer's tool and they integrate everywhere. So we would I was into that. We would like to hear what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo what Seth said, which is, we see AI as a tool to solve problems, right? We're software developers trying to solve problems for doctors, problems for patients. And sometimes the best solution is an artificial intelligence solution, one where we can use the data to find a way to predict an action or kind of automate aspects of a workflow. The tools available to us extend to both predictive models and now generative AI being kind of large language models, ChatGPT style tools. Which have gone a long way in the kind of administrative burden and more like textual language spaces in the health system. So a lot of work, just a lot of work being done across the company that relies fundamentally on AI.
Are any providers like resisting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I bet they
like how many? Like percentage
Ooh, I don't.
50?
We usually think of it like a bell curve. Usually, there's about 15% that are
visual chart.
yeah. Usually, about 15% are like, we're super excited about everything new. We want to be early. We want to be alpha testers, beta testers. And then you've got most people in the middle where it's like, if this is a solid solution, I'm happy to use it and learn it. And then you have the people that are resistant. What's interesting about generative AI is the people that have been the most outspokenly positive about it actually have been that lagging group. They're the folks that don't have great personalization. They don't like using the software today. They don't know the software super well. And then you have something like ambient voice recognition that comes in and says, don't worry about the chart, just go through your workflow, focus on the patient, and then we'll handle the documentation. And they've been the ones that are like super responsive to that because they were struggling before and now they're not.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I noticed from the opening session was really like, I get the sense from Judy is obviously originally a software developer herself, and the personality and the mindset that goes along with being a software developer is like, here's the thing we're going to do, and everyone should do it.
And we did.
And then that's not always how human beings work, how humans work, right? People are complicated. And, I'm sure things would be better if you were able to apply all these tools to everything everyone is running. But as you said, the implementation is the key core part of this. So what are you seeing? Are you seeing some particular successes now people are implementing these new tools into their workflows? Or like, because if you don't do it right, then it's going to be crummy and not work, not do what you want it to do.
Yeah, I think fortunately for most organizations, I think there's been enough AI in the past 5 years that this isn't the first AI implementation for most organizations. We've actually had folks using like our sepsis predictive model for quite some time. And so for those organizations that are familiar with rolling out AI, they can fall into those kind of patterns of let's make sure we educate users. Let's go through and start with the right users. That's something that we've encouraged a lot of times for folks is you don't have to roll out to everyone all at once. You want to start with those really enthusiastic folks, and then that builds sort of an organic growth of the tool. And so there have been some really great organizations that have been able to implement pretty quickly what we've been able to develop.
Yeah. How do you think, the sepsis prediction tool in particular, I know that was a little bit challenging a few years ago, and there are definitely concerns about data and bias. How do you think about data and bias when you think about the development of these tools? Because as I understand it, to be wrong, from architecture perspective, your clients, your customers have their own architecture, their own system, and they're using a federated model for training. You're using a federated model for training. How are you training those tools, and how are you?
Yeah. So for the predictive models, we do what's called localization, where we basically start from, this is a model that we've built on likely like Cosmos data or data that's aggregated across the community. And in order to eke out really the highest performance at any individual health system, we're going to localize those coefficients to basically be the best it can be for the patient populations. If it's like an academic, very different from like a rural patient population, obviously. So that localization is baked in. Our approach has basically been the exact same for validation, which is, we've built these models, we release them to the community because we feel like they have great value and that they do what they're intending to do in terms of, predicting a clinical intervention or, the disease progression, basically. But it's important for each health system to validate that algorithm on their patient data. We can't say for sure every tool that we're going to release is going to work perfectly for every organization. So what we do is we say, let's build these tools to help you go into your data, see how this model would perform, maybe run it silently. And that's helped, as organizations have gone through that, they become more familiar with that process. That helps grease the wheels for subsequent AI deployments.
Yeah. What do you think biggest risks are moving forward with your customer base and AI deployments?
Yeah. One of the things that I think is definitely worrisome for a lot of the development staff here at Epic is automation bias.
Yeah,
basically,
for sure.
Right. If the tool gets better and better, folks stop reviewing it, scrutinizing it, and then you might not catch a mistake that the model makes, because any AI tool is never going to be 100% perfect.
Or you might just think that the machine is right. The computer is right. Like that's a form of automation bias as well. You think, well, like the system told me that thing, so it must be whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if the thing that the system told you was perfect 99 other times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've had to be really deliberate with how we incorporate the outputs of these into the workflows, trying to be as thoughtful as we can of, how can we kind of turn on the part of the user's brain where it's like, I know that this isn't perfect. I need to scrutinize this output and switch the workflow from being like, use your clinical knowledge to write something new to now review and submit, like trying to do that kind of mental shift,
Right.
more of a review style workflow. And that's been sort of our approach for a lot of the particularly generative AI automation style tools. Yeah.
One of our potentially maybe later guests, maybe future guest, we were talking yesterday. I was sitting over there. We were talking yesterday about we're discussing a variety of things, including up to date, which obviously has a lot of clinical information. And that's not the same as automation bias necessarily. Of course, up to date recommendations are built into various systems, but you can look at that and be like, well, up to date says this is the right clinical thing to do, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
It's also present in non-AI tools.
Yeah. That's definitely a challenge.
What's your favorite part of working at Epic?
The donkey. That would be me.
The easy answer is the food. The culinary staff
We've heard that a lot.
admittedly great. I'm sure you've had a taste at during UGM. I think really just the real answer is having the ability to solve really challenging problems that help people, help patients, help providers. I come from a medical family, doctor, dad, nurse, mom, and it's nice to be able to.
They're very proud of you.
To contribute, yeah. And they'll probably be viewers of the podcast.
Check you on LinkedIn. It was weird on LinkedIn profile. So
It's because they never intend to leave.
I guess
They
why
never
have a
intend to
LinkedIn
leave.
profile if you never go anywhere?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so most exciting thing that you're working on, like that you can tell us about, because it's top secret, in the next like 6 months, like what's your big exciting thing?
One of the big things that we just announced earlier today is the development of what we're calling Cosmos AI.
Yeah.
Particularly because AI fundamentally relies on having high quality data. Building AI tools on one of the largest medical data sets in the United States means a lot of power in terms of AI applications.
Yeah.
So I know there's a myriad of different clinical use cases that are going to leverage that.
That was one of the funniest parts of the opening session for me. I was reading the little notes when Judy was talking about about Cosmos and Cosmos AI, or briefly talking about Cosmos. I said, talk to your government to see if you can join your local Cosmos. It was a message to the viewers, the customers who are not from the US. Talk to your government about joining.
Data. That is.
Yeah, it has been an unfortunate barrier to some of the international organizations for not having that access to that capability. And I think it's actually been pretty encouraging.
Wasn't one of the test pilot ones from the Netherlands?
Yes, yeah, for the generative AI tools.
Yes.
Which is
interesting.
It's
for an adventure.
Cosmos, yeah.
But just for them to be willing to get there.
They're so interested. They definitely want to get involved, and they've had some sway when it comes to talking to their governments.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The Dutch, they do their
Cosmos AI.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Last parting words for our dear loyal fans. Then we're going to bring on these providers to tell us if they believe it. That's great.
I have no words. Thank you for.
Yeah. Gil, you got it. Gil. Did you want us to move?
So you want to fact check?
Okay. Hey, dear loyal fans, McGill, Dr. Patrick McGill is actually a repeat guest on Mental Tech Talk Show. This is his second live in-person talk show. He was with us at Health or Vive. Vive in Los Angeles a few months ago, or who knows. But here he is again. He is the Chief Transformation Officer of Community Health Network. And I'm going to get this wrong, but y'all, he
in Indiana.
Indiana. Yeah, no, but the point is, he did not get a full slide during this morning's big, exciting drama.
I'm not complaining.
I'm complaining on your behalf. He is a 10-star, 6-diamond health system. What does that mean?
Right. So as you know, Epic uses the 10 stars for how much of the functionality you turn on and you use, and it's it's a tough achievement to go up to stars. We started way back at 4 stars, and the last 3 years we've been 9 stars. So finally pushed it across.
10
Pushed it across.
stars.
I think there's 45-ish 10-star organizations. And then my chart functionality is measured by diamonds. And so it's the program that Epic started a few years ago to measure how well you're engaging with patients using my chart. So those are measured in diamonds. And so we are the only 6 diamond.
The
The only.
See, yeah.
That's interesting
Yeah.
because when during that part of the presentation, I was reflecting on, as somebody who's moved across the country many times, the different levels of functionality in my chart, and I was like, yeah, there is a real different level of functionality, and not to diss anyone in particular, but one of the organizations on that list, GBMC in the Greater Baltimore area, I don't agree with their rating. I would like to file a complaint with Epic for their star rating for one of their own customers. Sorry.
It was probably something you did wrong.
I know it probably was. It was probably, I'm just saying, implementation is hard, and something like that is really, and so they're saying like it's going to be about how you use it now, which is
Yeah, implementation is part of it. And that's where I think the program has shifted with my chart with the diamonds, because you are measured on actual
like,
use and actual
Yeah.
customer using, certainly caregiver using.
Yeah.
So that's why we're really proud. So we're the 10-6 club.
That's next, and you were the only member.
The only member.
That is very exciting. So I'm sure everybody at Epic's watching this right now. So I'm sure next year you will have your own.
We'd be proud of like the 2.
Now, did you get a trophy?
We did. We got a 10
Okay.
star.
There was some guy last
trophy.
night walking around at the LK party
with his
we
trophy.
neglected to ask him who he actually
Yeah,
was, but
because
he walked around with this trophy for like an hour.
He was very proud. He was very
We gave our trophy
amazing.
appropriately. So he has the trophy.
Okay, was it ultimate?
I think it was ultimate.
Yeah. Anyway, but
We don't do these things just for the awards and recognitions. We do it for the patient.
The reason you do this is for the awards, not the patients.
We do it for the patient.
So community is large Medicaid mix, right?
We we're like many health systems, so we're based in Indianapolis and Marion County. So we have a fair share of government payer, Medicare and Medicaid.
Yeah. But I do think it's cool. You also, in addition to being a superstar at Epic, you test a ton of new technologies, right? A lot of stuff. What do you think of the AI? Do you think Sean is full of it?
Oh, we're actually very bullish on AI. We really many years ago we started down this path of clinical variation and reducing waste, and we're going to take the same approach with AI. So we've actually hired a director of AI who's going to lead our data governance as well, and we're going to put hard dollar savings in the budget for automation, AI, waste reduction. Probably starting some in the administrative spaces, finance, HR, legal, but we've been an early adopter of ambient listening, and that's been, I can tell you, as somebody who still practices, that has been a game changer. Like,
So you have ambient listening from Epic's.
well, it's partnered through Nuance, but
Nuance.
it's not for somebody else. Yeah.
So you have that going. So let's say when you're in a patient encounter, that's turned on, that's happening, and then afterwards.
I'll tell you.
Yeah,
We've been live with Epic for 12 years.
Okay.
I was one of the early physician builders through that program. So I always tell people I'm a fairly decent Epic user. I know how to use the system. I know how to do customization. I know how to leverage all the smart phrases and links and note templates and everything else. But I can tell you for the last 8 years, I have not left clinic without a chart open. Most of it's a lot of charts open. Since we've been live,
You're
with
still
ambient
going
listening,
to jam time, right? You're like, no matter if you do
exactly.
it with all
And
of
I know how to use the system. Since we've implemented ambient listening last September, October,
Wow.
I have not left clinic with a chart.
Wow, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
That's a really big deal, actually.
It's a huge deal.
Like, how much time per week is that saving? A lot.
Oh,
You personally?
hours. And I'm only in clinic 1 day a week. So multiply that by 4 to 5.
Do patients know about it? What do they think about it? Have you heard any interactions?
Especially
in disclosure, right? Like it must be like when they must have to like.
No, you kind of tell them, hey, we're going to use
Got
this new technology to help with the notes. Actually, when you look at it, I think it captures more sentiments in the visit. It actually is probably more accurate than me trying to shorthand what they're saying. So I think it's actually more complete. And what we tell people, it's only going to get better. So we had a big upgrade last week, and everybody's raving about the upgrade. Like people who were not using it have started using it again. So these technologies are only going to continue to get better. So I think when you look at those types of things, we're very bullish on the nurse documentation in the hospital. So anything we can do to really drive that well-being, wellness, efficiencies, we're all about it. So Epic, come, you know who to come talk to.
10-6 Club, right here.
It is interesting that Epic's perspective on AI is actually like very similar to mine in the sense that like it is a developer tool and there's a developer who can build all of these other functionalities to make things better kind of incrementally, right? For it's not like one.
I don't know, saving hours a week when you're multiple hours a week if you're full-time practice, that's like not incremental.
That's a lot of money.
That's like a lot.
You probably cost a lot of money as a
Well, you said you're budgeting to like you want to see you're expecting cost reductions.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really cool.
We're absolutely.
cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that people have to approach it. If it's just one more thing to add on, it's a nice bell and whistle, it can get very expensive pretty quickly. So you have to be thoughtful. You have to look at your processes. You have to understand where there's opportunities because like you were talking about earlier, it's not going to solve every problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how do you be very focused and use the tools to solve the problems that you need to solve? And I think that's the approach that we're taking.
Yeah. That's really cool. So question as an actual like leader of a health system. We talked a lot this morning about, we like snuck out and drank some coffee and ate some popcorn during the early.
She ate popcorn.
I ate all the popcorn in the early session, and we were talking about like, holy crap, like Epic's doing all these things, like wow. But a lot of the problem is going to be implementation, right? How complete can these hospitals get things done? It seems like you've like obviously with your 10-6 Club done a lot of work to make implementation
like that,
real.
but not everybody does that, and
Yeah.
it's a leadership, it's a culture, it's other problems, it's a systems. Like, tell us why.
Yeah, why
are you in the club by yourself?
Yeah. Why are you all by yourself?
Well, I think it's a couple things. We haven't always been in the club.
Mhm.
And so, look at historical leadership,
Mhm.
culture, some of those things, it wasn't a priority. And so the approach that we took starting probably 6 or 7 years ago is if you think about it, our investment in Epic outside of building a hospital is the largest investment
For sure,
in anything
for sure.
that we will make outside of our people in
Right.
terms of buildings or technology or anything. So why not maximize? And in every year that I've been coming to UGM, Judy says the same thing. Leverage what you
Like,
pay
please
for.
use
Like it's not. She does sometimes say please use it, but it's if you think about it, you've paid a lot of money for this tool. Why are you not using it? So that's the approach that we've taken. How do we maximize it? How do we get the most out of it that we can? How do we? EMRs are here to stay, right? So it's not like we're past kind of the optional. I don't like this. I'm going to be a late adopter. We're here to stay. So you've got to.
The holdouts on paper, still a few of them.
That's right. And so it's a cultural thing. It's a leadership thing. I think it reflects other things that we do though. Our focus on patient experience, right? I would put our patient experience scores up against anybody in the country. And I think that's reflected in, we make things easy. We try to take friction out. We're leveraging technology. We're leveraging AI. All of those things kind of come together. So it's not I'm going to come into an organization and we're going to force the EMR down your throat and you're going to force to do all this type stuff. You got to take a comprehensive approach.
Are y'all working with Cosmos?
Oh, we were one of the first contributors.
So cool.
I think we were in the top 10 contributors to Cosmos way back in the day. Way back in the day. Because we found, and this was, how long has Cosmos been around? 5 years, 6 years?
We have a live audience in case no one can tell.
6 years?
6 years. That sounds about right.
So even 6 years ago, we knew that this was the way things were moving in the future to be able to aggregate all of this data.
Yeah.
And we're a community-based health system. So we're not an academic research health system that's going to do a lot of the research. So we did it for two reasons. One, the greater good of contributing our data. And two, there are times that we do use it. So some of the new functionality, like the lookalikes and the treatment recommendations, I think that's why we would.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very cool. We learned about that at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So you're also involved in various interoperability initiatives, and you're also involved with Civitas member organization, Indiana Health Information Exchange. How do you think about the broader interoperability landscape as part of this? Lots of stuff changing right now.
Lots of stuff changing. I think you have to be flexible and extensible. So you're right. Health information exchanges have a role, and so how do we aggregate some of that data across different EMRs? Things like TEFCA are coming online. We were one of the first organizations with Epic to contribute our data to TEFCA.
Awesome. That's cool.
And so when you think about it, interoperability shouldn't be an issue in 2024, almost 2025.
Yet.
The fact
Yet it is.
that was one of the features I wanted to cry. It was native faxing, like faxing built into the
Bidirectional.
bidirectional.
So I've had two stunts over the last 15 years that I've been in leadership. One, electronic prescribing of controlled substances.
Yeah.
Every meeting I walked into until we were able to turn that on
We have to do it.
8 years ago,
Yeah.
they finally turned on just to shut me up because they were sick of it. And now the next one for the last 8 years has been faxing.
Just 8
I
years.
won't rest until I never receive a piece of paper
Nice.
in my
I'm
office.
I support you. I want that. I want that for all of us so much. I want it for us. We can do it. We can do it.
Healthcare just props up the fax machine industry. So we have analog phone lines. The only reason we have analog phone lines is because of our faxes. So I would love to get all of that to go away.
Let's do
We're
it.
super excited. I looked at the head of our application and was like, gallery, what's going on? Where, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be going on that. Too.
Nice.
I'd like to tell all of your loyal fans who are now like super fans of the 10-6 Club.
Yeah.
I think you got to take a practical approach. I mean, I think we've approached this thing very practically, and how do we drive adoption and really engaging our clinicians and nurses and doctors and others to again, the patient's at the center. So how do you keep the patient and the caregiver at the center, and really approach it?
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I
Are
spent
you-
my birthday.
That's great.
You did tell me that, and I was gonna like do something weird. You said,
And
"Please
she
don't."
forgot.
Sorry. But you told me I wasn't allowed to say anything, so he said it first.
We actually have
That's how much. That's how much I wanted to come on.
We remember like we interesting person. We close on his birthday with us in DC.
People love hanging out with us.
Yeah.
This guy, Chad Francis, we picked this guy up off the street yesterday on the carousel or whatever.
Yeah.
The horses. Would you like to hold
I'll hold the bear too.
Health system and bring him to New York.
Correct.
Yeah, United Health Services.
Yep.
Tell us what you do, because we don't know you.
We just found him on the street.
Chief data officer.
Amazing.
And so you've had a bunch of experience with Epic. You're from Geisinger
Originally.
Now you're at UHS. So do you think Sean is full shit?
No. No way.
Stephen might be like, that guy's full of shit. We'll see what happens.
So David said Sean. He's very serious, and I believe him.
I mean, record. Oh, like, are you using these AI features?
So we're working on it, right? So we're a newer Epic client. So we've only been on Epic for about 3 years.
So you're not in the 10-6 Club, but you are
No,
for Patrick.
no, but I'll tell you, shout out to UHS. So this is nothing to do with me. They're a 9 in 3 years. So they're up to a 9-star, working to get to a 10-star.
How many diamonds?
No, I think
No
they have
diamonds.
1 diamond, I think.
One is worth
That's-
0.
that's- yeah. So they're,
But
they're
do you
working
use
towards-
my chart? Because that was a
Yes,
there was a
they use my
lot
chart.
of the
The
presentation. was
diamonds
like-
is my chart.
No, I know, but a lot of the presentation was like, don't do it yourself. Don't have your own tools because my chart has all this stuff. So
The yo-yos.
The yo-yos.
No.
Okay, but you have my chart. You're just not. It's not as built out.
Well, there's still,
Yeah,
still,
okay.
and we're kind of approaching the same way with AI, right? So we're early on in that path. We were talking earlier, we're still learning really how to just use data the right way
Yeah,
in the organization. So, part of that is then working in that AI structure, right? Because it's not data and AI kind of go hand in hand, right? They're one on top of another. So continuing to build out, find the right way to focus on the patients, focus on improving optimization for our processes and our workflows within the clinics that we can help drive, and using Epic as a great partner for that. So
Yeah.
certainly not full of it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's, you never know. You never know what it's like an actual company saying stuff. So, well, so far I'm glad this is all validated. It works out.
And just to be clear, we literally there was no one. We didn't ask permission to bring you on the show. Kat just found him on the street.
Some other guy. Doesn't matter. Anyway, okay. So you're starting with some like more administrative stuff for AI. So what are you doing? Any Cosmos stuff?
So Cosmos, we're putting data there.
Like Cosmos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very
We're
interesting.
putting data in there. So again,
Yeah.
same process, right? Trying to figure out how we get the most out of it. But implementing it in the proper way and
Yeah.
using it in the proper way, right? So smaller organization, still trying to figure out how to use all the solutions because everyone wants to do it all right,
Yeah.
right out of the box, right out of the gate. Let's do it. Let's run with it. But that wanes after a while. You lose kind of that enthusiasm, so you have to do it right when you start.
Okay. Cool. So how big is UHS?
So we have 3 hospitals,
Okay.
and a number of clinics in that Binghamton, Broome County, Delaware County, New York.
Okay. So New York is like got all those QEs. How does that complicate the situation,
Well,
if at all?
I don't know.
It's just more. It's just extra.
Yeah, I don't think that it really does.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good response.
Well, that's a good response.
Who's from Pennsylvania?
The
with
QEs
it, so what's
The QEs are members of Civitas, just so you know. Shout out to the QEs and shout out to the New York Health Collective, David Horrocks, who is working his butt off to make things happen for New York State. He's trying to
God
really
bless you. Okay, so what are you most excited about? So we just sat through this, like all this stuff is happening. Our heads exploded. Like, what are you most excited about moving forward?
I'm excited about some of the data things that I'm learning about, right? So there's a lot of new things that we're doing here. So, at Geisinger, we're a little bit more mature in our analytic journey, a different organization. So, we just learned about the analytic catalog and using the analytic catalog within Epic, so we can drive all of our analytics right out of that catalog as a standard place to store things. We're super excited about doing that, something that we really want to focus on at UHS because we think it'll help the clinicians and the administrative folks use data more wisely. And really, I think the AI part is really exciting, to be quite honest with you, not to keep bringing it back to that, because I know, but that's really,
guy here.
right, that's really what we're talking about. And so how the discussion has changed from AI being a separate thing to being integrated in everything that's going on. I think that's a big change in the way we're communicating it, and then taking that back to our organization and speaking to that with them and finding.
Yeah, like what are the doctors and the clinicians, in UHS telling you about what they need and what they want? They're just saying, make it take less time. Make it. What are they saying?
So ambient listening is certainly something. So I know they were turning that on. So that's something that they're.
Oh, so they're about to do that.
Yeah, so they're going to be working on that in the pilot. So we're going to through that. The lookalike out of Cosmos was something that folks were interested in. But again, we don't know if it's the right audio, if it's the right time for that, if we have enough use case for that. Yeah, work through it. Everybody wants AI solutions, right? So whether it's Epic or other vendors, they hear about it. Our board hears about it. They want us to be pushing forward, but we got to do it in a responsible way.
Yeah,
so we were talking earlier. We're standing up that AI governance as one of the first steps. So that's something we're going to be doing here in a couple months. So we have a way to govern our solutions as they come in. Make sure that we're using them ethically and responsibly and getting the best results.
What kind of people or individuals are going to be a part of your?
Yeah, because a lot of our
That's what I'm
loyal
curious
fans are interested in, like, how do we
Data governance.
Like, how do we do that? It's new.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think we took some advice from folks at Epic. We took a partner and other folks helped us. So it's really a multidisciplinary team, right?
Sure.
So we have IT, we have our IT infrastructure team, we have the data team, we have clinicians, we have representation from all of our business lines, so from all the hospitals and from the clinics. We have nurses there, we have folks from just administrative roles within the hospital. So making sure that we're looking at it from all angles. So we have a committee that's going to be assessing solutions. And then from there, it'll roll up to a governance committee that'll make decisions about how do we push forward? Do we have the funding for this? And driving those solutions forward and assessing even the Epic solutions, right? So just because it's from Epic doesn't mean you don't need to assess it for the usability and how we would implement it there. And then we are breaking out automation from AI. They're very close, and obviously in automation, AI, there's parts of that that's done through AI, but we're looking at our automation committee as a subcommittee as well, and then now rolling it to that.
Well, I mean, just like there's, automation bias risk with any AI tool, there's also similar automation bias risk. Like one of the things that Judy was talking about in the opening session as well was, I think it's called like fast lanes, whatever it's called, fast lanes, express lanes. There we go. Express lanes. And sounds like a great idea. There weren't a lot of obvious takers in the room, and it's obviously something that is available to
Do you
many.
think that's just people who didn't want to raise their hands, though?
I don't know.
Because I didn't want to stand up.
But I think there's a risk, right? You have to set it up.
No, Patrick says, no, people really aren't using that yet.
You have to you have to set an express lane. It's just like automated steps, going through the automated steps with a predetermined pathway. Well, there's a lot of decisions you have to make that happen. Right? You don't just
You have to like set it up.
and then you have to say like, okay, what happens if what's this edge case? What's this edge case? Right? It's complicated.
Well, I don't think anything is a set it and forget it type thing.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
So you got to build it, and then you got to continue to assess it to make sure that
Right.
it's continuing to work for those clinicians of those areas. And what changes are happening? What changes are happening in clinical pathways that need to be adjusted there? And so I think that's an important part of.
Well, also like automation governance is also an important thing to think about, because if you do something, there will be an impact. It could be, that people use it and they save a bunch of time, and then you're like, wow, our productivity is way up and our clinicians are happy. Or it could be like, this was set up incorrectly and we didn't think about the important edge cases. Yeah.
Well, I think it's about setting the expectations too. So I think, in the presentation we were just at, the CDAO forum, we talked about, some of the ambient listening and some of the AI functions for writing messages back to patients. And, the acceptance rates in the beginning, they're good. I think what was it, 47 or 57%, where the AI solutions were accepted. And just put into the note, and people were happy with that. And you need to continue to assess that, because I think you got to set the expectations about, it's not because a lot of it is about formatting or tone or those, but this is what it's going to look like, so people go into it with an open mind and you can think about how you can tweak it.
Nice.
Are y'all already signed up for TEFCA?
No, we're not. So something that's come out of this that we are going to focus on. So we're talking with the CIO today about how we're going to address that when we
Do the thing.
get back. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Awesome. Very exciting. Yeah, I'm like, we need to talk more about the Epic announcement to move everybody.
We do.
But that's pretty wild. It's a lot of hospitals.
It is.
Some serious weight.
Yeah,
So yeah.
For sure.
All right. So what are you most excited about moving forward? Like in general, in your life, in
General, boy.
whatever. It's really like you want to. Is it great skiing in Binghamton? I don't even
I don't
know.
know. There's not great skiing in Binghamton. It's not,
Oh, it's pretty flat. Didn't know that.
well, there's not skiing. Let's go.
No.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I'm excited about what we're going to do at UHS. I think there's a lot of really cool things that we're going to implement. They're going to work on the technology platform and the data platform. So I'm really excited about being part of that and continuing to drive that organization forward with the solutions with our partners, Epic and others.
Well, I hope that we prove to any PR team that you have that you can totally get picked up off the street and do great media interviews.
Yeah.
At freaking 5, you're on.
If you need a reference from us, we'll give you a
we'll
reference.
be like, he did all right.
Nice.
Well, thank
Very
you.
well done.
Oh my gosh. Great to meet you, Chad. You're
I think
welcome
we
to
should
Cat Call.
see Stephen's willing to.
I'm actually waiting to get cleared for media relations.
Oh,
But I would say he's not full of shit.
Clear.
can you come here right now, and then we can continue
clearing.
clearing?
I think we're waiting for Michael. But
All right, so we got this guy back here. We met him at the bar. Are we even going to say where it's from?
no, he's from a big organization that talks about hospitals.
Yeah.
Hospital things.
All right, Sean, get back up here while he's waiting for clearance so we can ask you about TEFCA. Oh my God.
There's no clearance.
Jacob, are we like totally freaking you out? Oh my God. Here, do you have hold this? Yep. Sean's back. This is the guy who works at Epic.
You guys have become
We, by the way, are not media.
Okay. Nobody is watching this. Just
Right.
talk on that.
It's fine. Is there any AI stuff going on with TEFCA? Can we just like talk about that?
Ooh, good question. I don't think we're doing a ton with data from TEFCA. I think most of the AI.
You can't do that right now because what actually gets in the Cosmos system? It's the data. It's data specifically authorized to be
Right.
de-identified, moved into Cosmos from a partner customer hospital.
Passing those 1,000+ data quality checks that
It has to be really high quality. It has to be complete. What else is required?
I mean, it has to be mapped correctly. A lot of it comes down to healthcare kind of data mapping at each organization. It's to be like dense. You have to have been on the system for enough time to get kind of quality data that way. So it depends on the exact data.
But as data comes in through TEFCA,
Come on over. Come on in.
Just come back.
Come on in, Patrick.
I'm just going to ask it off camera.
Okay.
As data comes in through TEFCA, into
Would end up in
it'll end up
conflict.
in conflict.
Correct. That's what I was just
And
thinking.
it could also trigger like models in the system.
So it will eventually continue to feed Cosmos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. All right.
You're saved. You're saved by the TEF.
You're saved. All right. Michael, you're late. Well, this guy doesn't have clearance. This guy doesn't have media clearance.
Thank you for mentioning.
We're real media.
All right, everyone.
Oh,
Michael Marchant is here with an award. It looks like
special correspondent, unpaid, our favorite.
Guardian of Interoperability.
Is this a real
Mickey just presented to me. I texted you in the middle of a presentation. Mickey.
But we're on live TV, so
Well, last time I texted you on live TV, you actually responded. So
This is recognizing the Care Everywhere Governing Council for going above and beyond in a pivotal moment for interoperability. This is incredible.
Is everybody see this? Hold on.
It's I don't know if it's going to work yet.
So-
That's
amazing.
Michael. He's basically in charge of.
yeah, and then
Everything.
this is the quality of work Epic puts together. It's magnets. I'm kidding. It's a joke. I gave Rob a hard time.
It's really sexy.
It's actually an art piece. Rob actually was telling me about this. It's like a puzzle. It's like I didn't break it. It's a puzzle. It's supposed to be. Yes.
Guardian of Interoperability.
Yes.
Plus
Guardian.
Epic and TEFCA and the big announcements. Tell your
your
loyal.
The big announcement.
Yeah, we yeah.
There.
How many fans we
I
have?
mean, essentially at this point, the big announcement is that we're going to be moving forward with TEFCA, and Mickey's going to talk to everybody he can to make sure that we do this. And I think that was already there. So there was no big news. I think that there was an assumption that all the Epic customers were going to show up this week and say we're not going to. Yeah, we're just going to eject from what everything's going on. But there's just too many things actually happening and things on TEFCA that aren't happening yet to make that happen. The idea here is that we've got a confidence issue with the current process. And I think for those of you who saw the press from Care Quality and from Epic talking about aligning with TEFCA and some of the governance pieces. So the idea here is that the onboarding process, that Care Quality is going to tighten it up. It's going to align with TEFCA. I think some folks got some questionnaires a few weeks ago about, what is treatment? And I think they're moving in a direction. In the presentation that I was just in with Mickey Tripathi, the ONC, or now ASTP, ONC,
7 types.
he does have, I had a slide with all of them.
Assistance.
ONC used to be the Office of No Christmas.
Yes.
So I asked him, what does ASTP stand for? He didn't have an answer. Deb, you want to workshop that right now?
Well, no, we're,
ASTP?
no, well,
As you know, we've already workshopped the new name.
Well, yes, the freedom, yes.
to the Freedom Data Network. And we plan on presenting our rebranding
More to come soon.
on September 13th.
The logo is a work in progress.
Yeah.
We have a high level graphic artist who's working
That's
with this right now.
That's right.
Lots of proofs. that
My
we're
youngest
doing.
sibling.
Some wireframes for our website. So if you go and would like to purchase the domain, we're taking donations.
You bet.
There is,
Yeah.
I mean,
We
we have a price.
We do.
We do have a price.
The point is, if we really did rebrand to the Freedom Health Data Network, I'm pretty sure everybody would sign on immediately.
Yeah.
It's just what I'm saying about that.
Patrick is shaking his head.
Well, what
Just kind of just.
You would not
Wow.
sign on if we rebranded it to
Wow.
the Freedom Health Data Network? Are you anti-America?
Oh, I'm from California and I would sign on to it. Come on.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have anything. It's freedom. Like we all like freedom, freedom of speech. People are like,
Yeah,
that's what's happening in Chicago right now. Freedom of speech.
Freedom is good. number
Yes, freedom
one.
is good.
Health data.
Health
maybe
data is
something.
awesome.
Network,
Yeah.
important.
Network. I mean, it's connectivity. It provides the conduit by which the free health data is unleashed.
Free, yeah. Many companies have had free the data as their dumb tagline.
I know.
We
Well,
will claim it with
We
freedom.
could tag it all day long.
Yeah.
Tell me, have you talked about your experiences here at UGM?
Oh, we have.
Well, we have, but no, I want to ask.
Did you ever get an answer on the red badge?
We did. It just meant media.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we were the only people who had red badges, and we were like, "This means don't talk to these girls."
And then
It turns out it just meant we were media. So
and somebody, we were talking with somebody who said that the red badge told Epic employees to run when they saw that. To not speak with these people. Yeah, it was really nice.
Okay. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this because you're on
Sure.
a committee.
I can talk about anything. It just might be.
Are you bad at your quality? Do you feel like we could be doing better?
I think that we all could be doing better. I think that the piece again, I think that the piece that is missing is that it's like security event or disaster recovery, right? If you never practice it when the disaster happens, then you have
should be
problems, right? War games. I mean, do you want to play a game? No, we don't want to do that. Like did you get the war games? Did you get that reference?
No.
Am I that old? Okay, thank you. In War Games, the movie, that's how it started. Would you like to play a game in the computer voice, right? So that's War Games. Anyway, so from a care quality standpoint, is they're responding in a way that aligns them with TEFCA. They're updating policies, and I think that the idea here is that there was some unfettered and unpracticed governance processes. When I say unfettered, I mean the network was unfettered and the processes were unpracticed, ungoverned. And I think that that part of that is, and again, this is the idea here is there were no disputes ever in the history of the network. Seems unbelievable to me.
Untrue.
Now there may have been
back channel signal chats.
yeah, well, who knows? I mean, yes, HTN. There's lots of different back channels where you would have things.
This means that you have to sometimes say no to things, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. You say like, well, this is safe. This is not safe. This is approved. This is not approved. Right? That's a governance.
That is the governance.
Activity.
Business. Yes,
Well,
there are
people figure out
notes,
how
there
to
are
make money.
minutes.
Figure out how to make money, and right.
Well, this is the great announcement with TEFCA is that they're actually supporting use cases. If you were able to see my exceptional presentation on TEFCA the other day, there was one slide that said the right tool for the job, right? So today, the only tool for people to get exchange on the existing network is treatment. So everything looks like treatment, even if it is or it isn't. If it's we'll call it a gray area. Let's use gray area. So if you're in a gray area and you believe this is treatment, or your VC funding is responsible for making sure that you continue on as an operating organization, if you have access to that data, then you're going to make it look like treatment, right? Now with TEFCA, you're going to have treatment, but you're going to have individual. Well, actually, let's back up because the patient is very important. Individual access services, right? That's one of the first things. And now I know it's optional. You're shaking. Lisa's shaking her head.
When be required.
Mickey, listen, I'm quoting Mickey. He's like, we're not in a position yet to mandate. I think what that means is when we get to a certain tipping point, it will become mandated. At this point, there's too much between where we are technically with that network and where we need to be to flip that switch in that tipping point. So we got to cross.
Did you get no media clearance?
So far.
Oh,
Okay.
I was also saying no mandate.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not suggesting there is no mandate.
I don't know
I
if
think
this
that
guy has even cleared. Okay.
at some point in the future.
Wait.
I'm quoting Mickey. That was
Understood. Mickey Percathy, great guy, moved TEFCA forward. Also, he is only the Assistant Secretary for Technology Policy and the National Coordinator and the Interim Chief AI Officer for another few months here. So, just to be clear, a lot of things can change.
for sure.
Different administrations.
resilience.
He may be, but I'm just saying, lots of ideas that are good. Especially as the tax
For those of you who weren't at this morning's update, the Epic CEO did her address and actually included faxing as one of the functionalities that was going to be rolled out. She's doing a bi-directional faxing. And then there was a small smattering of boos because people would like to move past it. They're
like to move past faxing.
Yeah,
The long tail.
yeah, probably.
You got the long tail.
Well, I mean, my point is that, yes, getting new use cases into production, really expanding them, getting good implementation, great. I super support that. But these things can be very, very pushed and be very sort of subjective based on political priorities. And I hope it doesn't happen because it's really important we move forward here. But that's one of the risks, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I always love TEFCA, but I will love TEFCA when it has, or the Freedom Health Data Network when it has individual access. Mandatory.
Or the shirt that Dr. Matt from Stanford talked about, Tough Love, right?
So what was his name again?
Matt Eisenberg
So this Dr. Matt Eisenberg,
from
he
Stanford.
told me yesterday that he has an app he's created called the Q Hinder, and it is Tinder
That's
for
amazing.
Q hints. And
we
you
should
can.
have him come to the.
We tried to get him to come on the show, but I think he didn't believe me that
He was a little spurred.
he was a little confused about this.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I'd never met this guy, and I was like, "What's up? I run a talk show."
Kat and I were sitting in the main hallway and just calling people over. That's how we got actually one of our guests. Hey, come on over. Let's get on.
That guy for the bar, he's not cleared.
I know, Matt.
I know
Anyway, the point is, the
For sure.
calendar, I'm not sure, I mean, it is a great idea.
Yes.
It's great. Yeah, you could be like, I don't like that guy, and that guy, or girl, whatever, that's a sketchy.
They.
human
We don't like
Uh,
that.
Yeah, anyway, the
we
point
don't
is
like
it's a great idea, and he also said that he has many Tef Love
He does.
t-shirts.
He has
so
Tef Love
it's very exciting. He did not know about the Q-Hens aren't real t-shirts.
Just a quick shout out.
Sure.
So the Civitas conference is in October, and we actually have a panel
You have the Q&A?
workshop plan called Q&As Make the Case, where we actually have invited everyone, including Epic. It is in Detroit. Yes. We're asking to make the case, not on the street.
Lisa only goes to the
about-
best places.
Detroit is amazing.
Detroit is awesome.
It is awesome. They are going to make the case and try and sell the audience on what they're doing and why it's important. What's the differentiator, if there's any yet? Why do you? So
Basically a live.
just make the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the fact that there are 7, there are more coming, and I think that the N on how many Q-Hens will be interesting because you look at the pieces of the industry that aren't connected today, and who needs a Q-Hen that doesn't already have a straightforward avenue. And I think that there's lots of business opportunity for enterprising organizations that do the right things the right way to engage in the Q-Henness.
Lots of sectors of the industry are waiting on the sidelines right now and saying like, let's see if this becomes anything.
Let's
Sure.
see.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Q-Hen of the day?
Oh, Epic Nexus. It's not Epic. It's Epic Nexus. We got to work on branding here.
I just got
Okay? Epic Nexus is the owner of the Epic Q-Hen. Well, I mean, your mom likes Paul Wilder, so that's
She likes Tom.
Can't speak to that.
That's the thing we have to tell everybody. So my mother does love Paul Wilder, the CEO of Commonwealth. He was previously her favorite guest on the talk show.
Yeah.
But then she saw Jonathan Bush,
Yeah.
and
Well,
she really liked him.
that's for us.
He's very handsome.
He is very charming.
And
So
very-
it's rough.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you
He's finding out live because I'm sure he's watching.
do your interview from a boat,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
he's on the yacht.
Quoting, she was just like,
Yeah.
what is happening?
What's going
She was like,
on?
who is this man?
That was one of our best episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was-
I mean, well, let's just give, you have No2, you have eHealth Exchange. I love Jay. Jay and I have done a decent amount of work with their Network Fire.
It was pretty
Right.
funny.
I like Bill there. You've got Kanza. Laura is an amazing talent and has done a lot of good work there. So I know I miss Med Allies. You got John Blair and Blake.
Yes, rodeo was champion.
He was a rodeo clown.
Oh, no. John, if you enter the chat, confirm.
Oh,
Enter the chat and can somebody confirm? Rodeo clown or champion?
John Blair was a rodeo clown. I am 99% sure. We'll see.
Okay. And what's the penalty if you're wrong?
I mean, whatever. Probably nothing.
People are playing your insurance.
I'm so sorry, John, that I called you a rodeo
this
clown.
is going to be like,
It was not.
See, I would go the other way though. Like it would be better to be a rodeo to confuse being a rodeo champion to confuse someone as a clown.
he was.
Like-
I think he was a clown, Lisa. But you're right. You're nothing exactly
It's
was
not
not.
pejoratively.
Just like United, all of those Medicare Advantage investigative reports, nothing's going to happen to those guys. And then everyone's going to be like,
Kick me off the show.
Getting all serious. Why so serious?
Intense.
We talked about clown. I mean, would you stand in front of a bull for the protected cowboy?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
they're called clowns, but they're like stuntmen.
Yeah.
So, John, you're a stuntman if you were actually a clown.
Like Med Allies.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Do you love it?
Who did I miss? I love AI because I don't have to ever draft any document myself. I prompt correctly. I get a good draft. It's just like ambient, like the ambient tools that organizations use and that were highlighted today in the UGM address. Can you basically? Yes. If I can talk and it can create content for me, and I can go, that looks good. I'd like to make it a part of my chart. And I mean, in the initial stuff that we've done at Davis, the CMIO says that his pajama time has gone down in just the pilot. Yeah.
McGill says hours saved.
What, can we find a better job name than pajama time? Is there any other terms that we
That's
have
just
to
what it's
use?
called.
Yeah.
How much
Well, my daughter's at PT, and she's doing like clinic notes at my house on the weekends. So
I think it's kind of like, when if you're forced to work, at least you're going to be in your pajamas and be semi-comfortable. That's the goal.
You love to drink wine during pajama time.
I think we should take the Epic dress code policy that's.
Aware. I think I'm going to challenge that policy because every single Epic staff member that I've engaged or encountered had a button-down shirt.
Aw.
They look very professional, right? So I would say,
Male.
huh?
Every male.
What? I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry. I hadn't encountered you until now. My apologies.
Just tripped it up a little.
Danielle and Sarah.
Everybody looks
Danielle
good.
and Sarah, not BFF, ICPD, PD. I always get the number, but there's no title, so it doesn't really matter. I could just make it up. Judy told them they can make it up, so I can make it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Sarah, Danielle, I mean,
They were
even
buttoned down.
but-
Everybody is hearing.
Raggy or TS.
Okay, all right, listen, so
Final thoughts.
allegedly,
We're
we
getting ready to
get out of this room at
Yeah.
4 and it's like 3:56.
We're pretty close.
Yeah, we went long today.
I don't know. I don't know. What's the craziest thing that happened to you in the past 48 hours?
You going down a slide in the middle of the day in the dress.
I like flew out of there. I was like, danger.
I mean, we were. Well, I would tell you that the second weirdest thing, it wasn't really weird. It was just exciting because Rob went down first, and then I had to carry your purse, or your bag, or your mobile, or whatever I had to go.
You
The
did.
second one was that we had one of the proud owners of a Gold Star 10 award was wandering around
6 diamonds.
Gold Star 10. I don't think it's 10 stars. I think it's Gold Star. You have to go gold.
Well, I think he was better than that guy.
Yeah, but you basically, well, I'm not saying he's better. But the highlight of the night was that we're in a piano bar,
Oh,
and there's an organization that has Gold Stars 9, and they go to the piano guy, and they have the piano guy shout out their Gold Star 9 for their organization at the piano bar, while the guy with the 10 stars was wandering around cheering about his 10 stars. So that was the trophy.
Yeah.
His trophy.
yeah, no,
And he was probably the one on Carl's boat
I do.
plane with the 10.
Don't know who he is. But so we'll put him on.
I think it was the same guy with the jerseys. I think that was the same group. So.
There's allegedly real business happening soon, so I don't think we insulted anyone too badly.
So more to come though. We'll be back on Friday with our real sort of wrap up.
with our real show.
Yeah. The real show.
Not to get confused with this one.
How did you pick this location?
But it did.
Okay.
Great job. Great scouting.
Nicely done.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
The bear was a nice touch.
Love it. We gotta like.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. Thanks everybody. Yeah.
But